Have you ever heard of reverse budgeting? Reverse budgeting is where you build your spending plan around your savings goals.
Now, before we dive in, just a quick reminder. This video is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and should not be considered financial advice. Our full disclaimer is shown here and on our website. Hello everyone! Today we're going to be reacting to some additional TikTok finance videos. So, let's dive right into some videos.
Okay, a penny saved is not a penny earned. A penny saved is a penny depreciated. And a dollar saved is a dollar depreciated. And $100 saved is $100 depreciated. And $1,000 saved is $1,000 depreciated. And your money becomes worth at least, this was before we started printing money like it was a game, worth at least 2% less every year you're alive.
Now, I agree with the sentiment here of what he's saying. You know, back then, the common phrase was, a penny saved is a penny earned. Nowadays, it's not true. Basically, with how inflation is accelerating nowadays, there's no such thing as saving money as being the most wise decision you can do in your life. Nowadays, it's better to, instead of saving it, is to actually invest it in something that will grow and actually generate returns for you. Whether it's stock options, whether it's index funds, whether it's real estate investment trusts, there's something you always have to invest in if you really want to make your money work for you instead of making your money wither away.
Every dollar in your pocket today is only going to be worth at most 98 cents a year from now. And you saving money. I wish I thought I'd be saving some money. That must be some kind of out of my mind. See, now, if you take a penny invested, it might be 6 pennies earned. Are y'all tracking? $100 invested might be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, $20 earned. There's a difference between saving and investing. Saving money doesn't make sense. You're saving something that becomes worth less over time. Rich people don't save money, we invest it.
Now, he's absolutely right. Investing money is the way to earn money. It's usually the most proven and most common way to make money, and just to give some general ranges. Usually, like an index fund, for example, will generate 8 to 10% on average. While, if you invest in homes, sometimes that'll generate 5 to 10% on average if you decide to become a real estate investor. Now, another thing that many people don't realize is that usually when you deposit money into your bank, they're only giving out between 0% to 0.1%. So usually they're giving out these rates, especially if you go to like lawyer yield interest rate banks like Chase, Citibank, and all these other banks, very traditional banks. And they're loaning them out at sometimes 7, 8, 9, 10%. So think about that. Overall, saving money really does effectively make your money more worthless every year. So the best that you can do for yourself is invest it and make it work for you.
Why? We invest it because not only is time not money, but time is infinitely more valuable than money. But time makes money more valuable if it's invested correctly. Here's the cool thing about the relationship between time and money. Time can make money more valuable, and money can make time more valuable. See, what do I mean money can make time more valuable? See, people think that the quality of their life is created by the number of years of experience they have doing a thing. But I submit to you that the quality of your life is determined by the number of experiences you put in those years. You take one.
So I agree with what he's saying there. Sometimes someone who's done something for this, doing the same thing for 10 years doesn't mean that they're an expert in that area. So a very simple example of this is investing in real estate. So investing in real estate can be as simple as, for example, buying single-family homes. But someone who's an experienced real estate investor would have a plethora of different types of properties they own. So it won't just be single-family houses, they'll own maybe multi-family houses. They'll own apartment complexes. They'll own corporate real estate. And of course, they might even own like businesses and things like that. Each of these real estate verticals are actually much different in nature and more difficult to actually assess and, of course, manage. So just because someone thinks they're a real estate guru, it doesn't mean they are. They might be a master of one thing, but they will never be a master of everything unless they've dived into it.
One vacation a year, and you live for 20 years, you got 20 more vacations. Right? What happens when you become successful enough to take 5 vacations a year? You get to take 100 years worth of vacations in the next 20 years. It's like living an extra 100 years of vacation life. Money makes time more valuable. First of all, let's start with this.
So that last point that he gave is something that is what many consider financial freedom. Financial freedom is not something that's earned by everyone, especially early on in your life. Usually it's done at the end of your retirement age, and that's when you earn financial freedom. But he's completely right. Someone who is able to work, for the most part, will only have like maybe 2 to 4 weeks of vacation, and you might be able to take 1 to 4 vacations a year. But think about it this way. Once you have enough money to actually fully be free from your obligations, you actually free up the amount of time you can do to enjoy other things. So that's whether that's taking more vacations, spending more time with your family, going to baseball games, anything that's in your pure enjoyment. This is the power that money can create for you if you invest it wisely, and it's working while you're sleeping. So it's important to really think about your long-term future and really understand that money is something that will work for you as long as you properly direct where it needs to go.
Finance advice you've ever gotten?
Save $20 a day. 20 a day times 365, 7,003. A year times 2 years, 14,006. 3 years, 21,009. 10 years, 73,000. Compound interest, 78 grand. Save 20 a day, and you always keep broke away. The reason why people don't have money is not how much money you get paid, it's how much money you save. I know.
So I agree with the sentiment where, the one thing that people sometimes tend to forget is that when you have money, not all of it is disposable income. Some of it you should be investing in yourself. And the most common rule of saving is usually to do 10% of whatever you earn and kind of pay that towards yourself, which is to save it. Now, as we dive deeper into what he's saying, let's see what he says about, like, after you save it, what do you actually do with this money?
I know people who work McDonald's minimum wage, and they make more money than people make $40 an hour because they understand where they at. So they save trying to get higher. And then the people who make more money, they spend more money, and they get more happiness. You know what I mean? Hey, good luck, good life. You know what I mean? But
So I agree with the sentiment where, let's say you're earning $15 an hour working at McDonald's or a minimum wage job. But once you start earning $40 an hour, maybe you'll start spending more. This is a very common terminology called lifestyle inflation that happens to many of us. As we start to earn more and more money, we tend to think that, that gives us more of a power to keep spending more and more instead of, saving for our future, saving for retirement, which is the wrong thing you can do. Sometimes it's best to live as frugally as possible, and sometimes to live similarly to where you were before, and then use the extra to actually invest in your future.
you gotta save money. Without saving money, you got nothing to invest. That makes sense?
Yeah. That was some good advice. What's the best financing?
So he hit the nail on the head right there. If you don't have any money saved, how can you invest in anything? So that's the best advice he could have given. Like, essentially, you need money to make money. I know this is a very common terminology, but it's true. Usually, you need money to invest in your stock market, in real estate investment trusts, invest in properties, whatever avenue you want to invest in. You are going to need hard capital to actually do this. So overall, I agree with his sentiment of building, some savings over time and then investing that to its fullest capacity in order to make you more money in the future.
Hello everyone, my name is Anthony and I'm the host of the Log Sanctuary. I hope you've been enjoying our content so far, and if you have, please feel free to like and subscribe. Also, we have our website up here, and we also have some socials down here, and as always, leave your comments down below.
Instead of depositing your next paycheck into your checking account, do this instead. Most people get paid, put it in the bank, and pray that it lasts until the next payday. Have you ever heard of reverse budgeting? Reverse budgeting is where you build your spending plan around your savings goals, instead of focusing on fixed and variable expenses. Best way to do this is to use a 50-30-20 budget approach. 50% of what you make goes towards what you need, 30% goes to what you want, 20% straight to savings. This is low maintenance and a great way to take care of your finances. It makes it feel like you're not living on a budget at all. Instead of depositing your...
So overall, I agree with what he's saying. You should never be spending more than 50% of what you make take home. And this will include like rent, utilities, groceries, and things like that. Now, when he said 30% of what you want, now this is a little bit more dubious in terms of like what it means, but like what you want would be like maybe taking vacations, or maybe going to fancy restaurants instead of like groceries and things like that. Which I understand that's very common for people to make that kind of budget. And then the 20% for savings is a pretty solid number too. 20% is a great number. Now, just to give everyone some common measures of what I would do in this case, if I were, with take-home pay, I would say 50% is still my number for, for everything in terms of like, rent, groceries, utilities, all this fun stuff. In terms of like what I spend on what I like, I would say I would actually reduce that from 30% to maybe 20%. And then in terms of savings, I would bump that up to 30%. That way, that helps you build your emergency savings a lot faster. This will help you allow you to actually still, of course, do the things you love to do, but at the same time, you'll feel better knowing that if something does come up, you'll have your emergency savings to back you up. And of course, why not invest the difference as well?
Would you rather have $1 million today or a penny that doubles every day for 30 days? By day 10, the penny's only worth $5.12. But by day 20, it's over $5,000. And by day 30, more than $5 million. That's the power of compound interest. Slow at first, but once it gains traction, it becomes almost impossible to stop. Oh! Would you rather have a...
So there's a few things we can digest here. The first thing he said, would you rather have a big lump sum payment now or have something that compounds indefinitely over 30 days? So the first thing is that getting the $1 million right away may sound enticing, but the thing about it is that, just having the money in hand doesn't really do anything for you. Now, if you actually are smart with your money, even having something small like a penny in this video's case, as long as you're effective with your investment strategies and are able to compound this money effectively. In this case, it was compounding very quickly. It was around 100% per day. But in most cases, most realistic scenarios, it's probably going to be like 1 to 2% a month. So even though that might seem like a lot, what this video really demonstrates is the power of how a small time investment of, let's say, $5,000 to $10,000 can grow over time, as long as you have enough time, of course, to compound to a couple of millions of dollars. It's very common to say that, hey, what's $20 a day to me? Like what does that? That's not going to equate to anything 50 years down the line. When in reality, those $20, as long as you're investing it properly and it's gaining 8 to 12% 8 to 12% return of money every year, you're actually going to have $3 to $7 million at the end of your retirement age, which will be a very big lump sum that you'll be able to use to live your retirement comfortably. So get out there and start compounding. I would like to thank everyone for joining us as we reacted to more TikTok finance videos. I hope everyone out there has a blessed day, and adios.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job, and I'm wishing everyone out there all the best. All right, until next time, adios.